Hi, Warren Walker students. Today we are going to be creating bubbles. So pretty simple project, but focuses on overlapping and highlights and color. Our theme this week is pop art. And on my webpage, I have posted a bunch of different examples of pop art and different artists that kind of go along with it and some examples. And so today our focus is on bubbles. Here are my materials I have out in front of me. What you're gonna need is a few different templates to make something perfectly round shapes. So I have just some things I collected around the house. I have 3 different size cups. I have kind of a bigger one. This can be used for a circle this shape or even a small circle this shape. So sometimes you don't even need something like this because they're almost about the same. And here I have another cup and I have circle shape here and another circle shape here. So here's some of the other materials you're gonna need is something white to trace around for the outline of your bubbles. Here's a piece of chalk. If that's all you have, that works fine. I'm not going to use the chalk. I'm going to use a white colored pencil. You can also use a white crayon if that works too. The other thing I'm going to use to color in my bubbles, I happen to have a really old set of oil pastels, and you can also use crayons as well. And if you don't have oil pastels, you can also use colored pencils. That works too. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trace several circle shapes on my picture. I'm going to start with a large one, and it really doesn't matter where you start. I'm going to press fairly hard with my white colored pencil, and then I'm going to switch to doing a little bit of a smaller size, a little bit over here. And these bubbles are just going to be floating around our page. It gets a really nice kind of pop art fun picture. Make sure there's nothing in your cup. And when I overlap mine, I do not need to worry about erasing any of my lines. So you'll get a kind of an overlap line, and that's because bubbles are transparent. So meaning you can see right through them. So you don't actually really need to worry about that. I'm gonna get maybe a smaller bubble over here. So we're gonna draw several bubbles around our paper. So you guys kind of go ahead and do that. I might even have a bubble going off of my paper. It's kind of fun too. It creates a really nice picture. All right, so draw several bubbles around your page and create kind of a nice image over here. So it's gonna go off our page. There we go. And I'm gonna create maybe 1 or 2 more bubbles over here. There we go, 1. And I'm gonna leave it like that for right now. Okay, now the next thing we need to do is we need to create some kind of a white highlight. So then I'm going to move to my oil pastels. And I have a white oil pastel here. If you need to clean off your oil pastels, remember that you can rub them on a white piece of paper to get off any kind of yucky stuff on there. I'm just going to kind of use this anyway. Actually, you know what? I think this is actually the white. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create push kind of hard and just do a little bit of a line on each side of my bubble. Like this. And you can do a little bit of another highlight kind of around your bubble as well. So I'm going to create this another little bit over here. All right, bubbles are nice. They always make people think about going outdoors and having fun, blowing bubbles. Okay, here we go. So a couple little lines. And now you can see I'm kind of creating some highlights. So what I'm doing is my bubbles are getting a little bit of the appearance of not being so flat right now. They're getting a little more 3-dimensional. So I have a little bit of a highlight in here like this. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a bunch of bright colors. It really doesn't matter what colors you use. I'm just gonna use a bunch of bright colors. This one I'm gonna start with a little bit of red on here. And when you use a black piece of paper like this, or any dark piece of paper, I'm using black. You can also use any dark piece of paper. If you do have no dark pieces of paper, you can always do it with white too. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use several colors. I just happen to be using red and orange. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to do it in any kind of like rainbow pattern over here. Kind of go around and just get some really cool colors in there. And so each one of my bubbles is gonna have that. Okay, so I'm gonna add some color to these and we'll be right back and I'll show you the finished product. Okay, I'm just finishing up my bubbles, coloring in all my bubbles. And you want to remember that there's really no specific color scheme, like which particular colors you use. But here's the thing about bubbles. One, bubbles are all round, and bubbles are what's called iridescent. So meaning that the color seems to change from whatever direction you're looking at it. And another kind of fun fact about bubbles is that if you look at a bubble, it's actually lighter on the outside and darker as it goes in. So you can kind of choose your colors a little bit accordingly like that. And I am just finishing up coloring in some of my bubbles. You want to leave a lot of dark space. So I'm going to leave a lot of the paper color in there. And I'm not necessarily going to take my color and go all the way around the bubble. I'm going to kind of leave it. The beauty of oil pastels is they blend really nicely. Crayons will do this kind of the same trick for you as well. So that's always good. And I'm gonna add a little bit of like darker purple in here just to give it a little bit more color. And then we are almost finished in here. So pretty simple, but really fun kind of whimsical pop art bubble project. And just to kind of brighten your spirits if everybody's been stuck indoors. And just to get some kind of fun art, you can put this up on your walls and it'll make you have a really nice, pretty pop art bubble picture. All right, have fun drawing and I'll see you next time.